You are listening to Cheap Seats.
Brought to you by Agamemnon Self-Defense.
Now, here are your hosts.
This is the end. The absolute end.
Steve Willis and Steve Detman.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Cheap Seats. I am Steve Detterman. Along with me is Steve. No, Steve Willis is not here. No, it's coming though. We have a Steve Willis announcement. That is right. But right now, the co-host I have tonight, the man that's been here the last, 62 weeks or so, I think.
Something like
because,
that.
Willis
I lost count.
He's just been gone on sabbatical somewhere. I have Josh Briggs right next to me. We're ready to talk sports. It is a big night. Josh, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great and just ready to get into it. So let's get to it, buddy.
This is going to be a fun night. First, the Steve Willis side. You want to talk about that now, or we're going to wait on it a little bit?
Well, I'll let you lead right into it.
Nah, let's tease it. We'll wait.
We'll
Keep you out there.
We'll
if you want to wait for Steve Willis, just don't tune out, okay?
Suspense kills.
Hey, we've got a lot of great things going on. We've got golf to talk about. We've got the last major going on, the PGA Championship up at Whistling Springs, up near where my sister lives, actually, up near Kohler, Wisconsin. Beautiful, beautiful course. I've driven by it several different times. We've got that going on right now. Round 2 is winding down. We've got baseball action, matinee action right now over in Chicago. White Sox and Cubs going at it. Who is hotter than the Chicago Cubs? Only the Toronto Blue Jays, but between those two teams, Toronto, remember the team I told you about last week?
Oh, I remember Touch 'em All Joe in 1993.
That is Touch 'em All Joe. Joe Carter, of course, with the walk-off home run to win the World Series. But I tell you, I told you last week to watch out for the Toronto Blue Jays. What have they done since then? I said going into that series last week against the Yankees, it was going to be make or break, and my God, 12 wins in a row.
So they definitely made it then, huh?
I tell you, well, and the thing is they've built up a game lead over the Yankees, and they play 3 more tonight, or 3 more this weekend. 3 more tonight, that'd be a great series, huh? 3 more this weekend, and this time up in Toronto. So they went to New York and swept them last week. They kept it going all week long. They took over the lead from the Yankees, and now they are ahead. And by God, they don't look like they're going to stop.
I don't think so. I mean, after that Price acquisition, as well as Tulowitzki, and just the names goes on and on.
Since the acquisition of Troy Tulowitzki, the Toronto Blue Jays are 14-1. So, but hey, we're going to get back to baseball. We got to hop into this golf thing. And I also want to remind you, football started last night.
Football.
That's right. Football started last night. I got to watch my Green Bay Packers play. Of course, I got to see Aaron Rodgers play all of, almost a full quarter, actually. I was very surprised as the Packers played the Tom Brady deflated Patriots last night. We'll go over all the preseason and also some injuries last night and some other things going on. But first, we got to head up a little bit west, a little bit north as we go out to the Whistling Springs golf course, the PGA Championship. Have you had a chance to watch any of this?
Yeah, and some of the usual suspects that have been in contention so far for the majors, like the Spieths, the Dustin Johnsons, the Jason Days, they're up there, and it looks like Jason Day and Dustin Johnson are tied for second right now at 7 under.
They are. And and the thing is that, this is something that, Jordan Spieth has remember the last major, the British Open. Jordan had a decent first round, then he just blew. He really stunk up the second round, stunk up Friday. And then it took all of Saturday and Sunday to get back into it. Well, Spieth had his bad day yesterday. Today, 5 under round. He's at 6 under. He's only 2 shots behind the leader. The leader is only at 8 under. So, I mean, it's
wide open.
It is. And that of course, is Matt Jones. Matt Jones at 8 under. But you've got a couple other guys that are at 7 under. You talked about Jason Day, Dustin Johnson, Justin Rose. You've got 3 big names right there that are just sitting right there.
But who is not there?
We don't see the name Tiger Woods again. Tiger's has continued his bad streak at the majors, and he is sitting at 4 over on this tournament. And as we were talking before we went on, Tiger's going to have to get about, he had, 7 holes left to play. It was through 11. He has to get to probably about a 2 over if he wants to stay in this tournament and play the weekend. So he has his work cut out for him as he heads down the backstretch. Now this is the PGA Championship is always one of those tournaments that the PGA, they try to make tough but fair, and each year though they kind of differ on the tough and fair. I mean, we've had some courses where you could see anywhere from a 13 to an 18 under will win it. And then we've had a couple where it was like 2 under and 3 under. It was kind of like the U.S. Open, where they would try and find a course and take that course and make it just a little bit more tough. And, this one up there, up near Kohler, Wisconsin, it's a tough course. I mean, this is right along Lake Michigan, just takes you right along the other side there. And it's got like the dunes built into it a little bit, huge bunkers. It was set up when they first set it up. They wanted to set it up with the, more like the British Open type set with the big rolling hills and the big bunkers and that. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful course. So, right now, if you taking a look at some of the play up there, it's nice to see the usual suspects up there, but it's something that you just look at and you go, is this going to be the one? Because you remember what happened to Dustin Johnson in the British Open, right? Mm-hmm. Led all the way for the first 3 rounds, and then he got to the 4th round, and what happened?
He choked, and then here comes Zach Johnson.
He just collapsed, and then Zach Johnson came on. Jordan Spieth came on. You had Justin Rose. I mean, you had all these guys that worked their way up there, and eventually Zach Johnson wins in a playoff. So I mean, this is something. I mean, these are fun tournaments to watch because the course is set up where it's going to be a nice, challenging course. And this is one that just does not disappoint. It is a very, very good, very, very tough course. It's going to be interesting to see how we end up as we head into the final 2 days. But it looks like, you're going to have a Jordan Spieth that's going to hang around. And you take a look. Let's just take a look at the year that this kid has had.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, if you go back and you go back to the majors, okay, let's take a look. We started out with the Masters.
Yep.
Jordan
Spieth, he
ran away with it. Okay, then we had the U.S. Open, and that was just a botch move by Dustin Johnson there at the end, where it looked like he rushed a putt. I mean, that's plain and simple. He got up there. It didn't look like he took enough time with it. It was not a long putt. Hit it, just missed it. And from there, Jordan Spieth took home the second major. Then we head on to the British Open, and this is the one. Remember, we had the delay. We had the weather delay where the wind was so bad. I mean, you remember we were talking about the one hole. Well, we had the ball put down by the golfer, and when they set it down, all of a sudden it started rolling, and they had to wait for it to stop, and that's where he had to hit it. So instead of having the 3-foot putt for par, it turned into like an 8-foot putt for par, and that was just guided by the wind blowing the ball. But weather came out on Sunday. They finished it up on Monday and actually had to go into overtime session before Zach Johnson pulled that one way. But again, Jordan Spieth was right there to the end. Missed the playoff by 1 stroke. Now we head to the PGA Championship. And again, Jordan Spieth is right there, through the first 2 rounds, right there in the top groups. When was the last time that we've seen one person dominate like this within all 4 of the majors in one calendar year.
It had to be, guys like Patty Harrington. I mean, you remember how well he did with
Patty Harrington.
Yeah,
that was not a name I was thinking.
But like Patty Harrington, I mean, he won every single major, but the Masters, for some reason
in the same year? He didn't.
He about had the Patty Slam wrapped up, but it's just with those 3 in his career. I mean,
I'm talking same year. The same
I'd
year.
say probably Tiger for sure.
I would, other than Tiger, I mean, you're going to have to go back a long way before you could do this. But Patty Harrington.
Yeah, I mean I remember Patty Harrington, and I'm only 28.
Look up and tell me where Patty Harrington is now. It's Padraig, Padraig, and you're gonna say loser. No, he's somewhere where we don't know where he's at anymore. But
he gone.
He is gone. The only thing coming out of Ireland right now, Rory McIlroy. McIlroy not having a bad. Remember, McIlroy missed the British Open. His ankle was about the size of a balloon. He's back. I think he's back too early because even when they showed the picture of it a couple weeks ago, it looked horrible.
He needed more time to heal. I mean,
I think so. But you know what? I think happened is pressure. I think he got pressure from the different folks saying, you need to get back. Because if you don't get back, Jordan Spieth is going to take over your number 1 ranking. And, he's just going to keep going and you're going to drop. You need to get back out there and you need to defend.
But he should have just listened and said, hey, my ankle. What if he hurts his ankle again? Which could happen.
Well, it could. And you got to remember, Tiger Woods' problems came about when he started having knee injuries. He had the knee injury, then that turned into a back injury. And ever since he battled the knees and the back and everything else, he hasn't been the same golfer. Of course, he battled some extracurricular activity too, but which might have helped. Which might have, well, we could, but might have helped with the knee and the back there a little bit too. But it's with him. It's more of to me, Tiger Woods is more of the injuries, and I think just the torque that he places on his body when he was doing all those swings and hitting the ball as he was, I think it just, I really do think it damaged his knees and his back to the point to where in changing his swing, and remember we talked about that, he's changed his swing, four times? Four times
different
now.
Swing coaches too.
4 different times he has changed his swing. This is a guy that's won, what is it, 15 majors?
14 majors, yeah.
14 majors. He's changed his swing 4 times. And I think it's all due to these injuries that he's had. He's not just comfortable. He's not satisfied with one, and Austin, he has to change it. And it takes time to change your swing and get it down. And, right now, he's just did you ever watch Tin Cup?
No.
The movie Tin Cup?
No, I didn't.
Well, in the movie Tin Cup, Kevin Costner, who played a golfer and was tremendous, he used to always sit there, and talk about these people that would get these little things they put on their head to balance them out and to do this and that. And here he had lost his confidence, and he's standing there himself with these contraptions all over him trying to get his swing down. And that's what reminds me of Tiger Woods right now. He's a guy that's standing there in his hotel room, with the little contraption on his head, trying to get his swing and filming and seeing what's going on in that. And it's like, Tiger, why don't you go back about 6-7 years? Take a look at the video of your swing and do that. Because that worked for you. Now, if it hurts because of the torque and your knees and the injuries and everything else, you know what, dude? Put it up. You've made the money.
He's won the majors.
You still have all the endorsements. Right now, all you're doing right now is damaging your legacy. Okay? I mean, your extracurricular damaged a lot of your legacy, but now, what you always still had back then is you still had the golf. You could still play. Now you're losing the play, and it's getting to the point right now that he's got to sit there and it's either you fix it and come back, or don't come back. I mean, don't tarnish what you did. And right now he's putting a whole lot of rust on those trophies.
Because don't we want to remember him for what he was?
Well,
I mean,
it's sad. It's sad when you watch these people that were great for so long. Remember watching Michael Jordan, with the Washington Wizards?
Yeah,
remember that?
It was just, he had his moments, but yet he wasn't the Michael Jordan that we knew him to be.
No, he wasn't the guy that could take over a game and win it any time that he wanted.
He was more of a mentor to the young kids.
And he was. And the thing is that's what you didn't want to remember. Michael Jordan. Remember Joe Namath, when Joe Namath came back and tried to play with the Rams. How awful was that?
And Joe Montana with the Chiefs either. I mean,
I put it this way, with Joe Montana with the Chiefs at least led them to the playoffs. Okay, he did lead them to the playoffs. I look at Tiger Woods, and right now, Tiger, you get a top 10 finish, I'm celebrating. You make the cut in a majors, and we're having a mini celebration right then. I mean, you have not made a cut in a major, I don't think,
since
for
2012, I believe.
It's been a long time. But right now, the golf world has turned to the younger folks. We've turned to Rory McIlroy. We've turned to Jordan Spieth. We're still waiting for Dustin Johnson to get that first major. This could be it. I mean, he's been so close this year, and he was close last year a couple times. I mean, it's just a matter of making sure that he gets 4 good, solid rounds. It just seems that he always finds that one spot, that one little time, and he just doesn't recover from it. So it's going to be interesting because this is one, again, it's not that far away from where we're at. We're sitting out here, in beautiful Pleasant Valley, which is not that far away from the South Bend area. We're in the Michiana area. And, the golf course over Kenosha is probably only about 4.5, 5 hours away. So it's
a weekend trip out of it.
I tell you, it's a beautiful area up there. It's going to be interesting to come down through. I mean, especially when you've got you take a look at the leaderboard. And you take a look at a Dustin Johnson, you take a look at a Jordan Spieth, you take a look up there and you see a Justin Rose, you see a Jason Day. I mean, you've got these guys that are hanging around at the top. And these are the guys, when we get to Sunday afternoon, we'll all be tuned in and we'll be watching this come right down to the end. And it would not surprise me to see this get back into another playoff.
Well,
so
it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to check that out because I definitely know that one of those few will be the winner.
I think so too. Hey, we've got a lot more to hit on tonight. We've got some baseball talk to go over. We're going to head into the baseball era. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about Barry Bonds having a weight lifted off of his shoulders. We have all that and more, and you are listening to the Cheap Seats right here on XERS Radio.
Hey, this is Maximus and the Bartender. Make sure you're checking out our brand new show bringing sports talk to you right here live on Extras Radio.
Tune in every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. for all the latest sports news. NFL, baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it, we got it.
And make sure you check Extras Radio out on Facebook as well.
You can get there through XERSradio.com. All of the games on our big screens to the best collection of memorabilia from your favorite sports greats. Rock Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Mishawaka has you covered. Our menu features something for everyone. Amazing sandwiches and wraps, and the best burgers around, including the Rockstar Overdose, 2 half-pound patties, served with bacon, cheddar cheese, and piled high with French fries. Like us on Facebook to check out our daily food and drink specials that are sure to be great on your gut and easy on your wallet. We've got you covered between game days, too. Wednesday night is trivia night where you can match wits with your buddies for great prizes. And every weekend, Rocks features great music from some of Michiana's finest artists. Come see why there's no better place to get your fan fix than Rock Sports Bar and Grill in the Yorktown Center building in downtown Mishawaka. For those who come to Rocks, we salute you.
And we are back here on the Cheap Seat. Steve and Josh bringing you this Friday night's action. We've got an announcement coming up.
Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Willis, Mr. Steve Willis, the man that started this whole venture. He's been gone for quite a while. I think at least 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I totally lost count. So.
I don't know. My kids are grown and graduated from college already, so it's been a while. But Mr. Willis has decided he's coming back.
Yeah.
Give me the details on that, Josh.
August 28th.
August 28th.
It's not going to be too much longer. It's going to be his first foray back on as the host and the master of the board. And,
the master of ceremonies. The masturbate. I mean, where are we going
you know
with that
what we're
one?
talking
That's
about.
right. Willis fits right in there.
So that
do we have a party?
I don't know.
Am I supposed to be bringing a gift or something like that?
I don't know. I mean, you said it yourself. It's going to be hard to get him back here.
Yeah,
but,
it's going to be hard to fit in the same room with him. Here it is. I mean, I'm coming back. Make the announcement. Make it big. Make it surprise. This is going to be huge. I'm coming back. I'm going,
brace yourselves.
I'm like, good Lord. Willis.
Just come back.
Just come back and talk a little bit. I'm not going to be able to fit in the same room with you. His head is going to be bigger than the studio here. I'll be upstairs going, I am down. Are you okay down there? I mean, he's going to have me sitting outside the penthouse. I'm going to be sitting out there watching the birds come by, just hoping none of them take a dump on me or
listening
something.
Listening to his voice, and who knows? They'll probably be all flocking around him. But
there'll be enough of him to land on. He hasn't gotten out too much.
But it's gonna be fun to.
It should be fun, and hopefully you will get back in touch with. Get on the phone, give us a call, give Mr. Willis a good welcome back,
and come on in. Every now and again, and that's the plan. I'll be around still.
But be kind. I mean, as I always tell my people, hey, tomorrow they're going to call you. Just lie and tell them I did great. Just call Willis and tell them, hey, they did great while you were gone. You can lie. It's okay. We don't mind. We're just watching the show while he takes it off. Takes off for the summer. Doesn't take off anything else. I go, God, that'd be awful. That'd be a horrible sight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I tell you what, though, it's going to be good welcoming back Mr. Willis with open arms.
It is. It is. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the challenge.
But what are you going to do without the kid? I'll still be around. Don't you worry.
You will. I mean, we still have the Fast Four.
I'll pop in from time to time for sure.
You're bringing me down now.
I know, but hey, you know what? The first 2 weeks that you guys are doing the show again together, I'll let you get acclimated because after all, it is the Steve and Steve show.
It is,
and it's not Steve and Josh. So yeah, I think the 28th and the 4th, it's gonna be, I'm gonna sit aside and do the old call-in that we used to, and then of course September 11th I'll be back for that show for my birthday, and I got the big Chase special for you, so I'll be in then.
Mr. Willis just actually texted me. He said he's going to be coming back a little smaller. Actually, he's lost about 20 pounds, so I think he cut off a finger.
Uh-oh.
I think he lost a finger. Maybe
he
I'm not
cut
sure.
something off. I don't know.
20 pounds. I mean, he got a haircut. Maybe that was it.
And us three, we don't have much left. So
no. I mean, well, you know what? We should bring food then, because if he's losing weight, that means more for us. We actually get to eat.
Yes,
that's right.
And you know what? You know how last week I mentioned the ice bucket challenge?
Yes, you did.
I did get a Facebook post from Mr. Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah.
He said, "I nominate you." It means you. Anybody who wants to do it. We do it. So we're doing it.
Hey, did we get any donations?
I didn't see.
We need to see. I mean, because that was the thing. We want to, if we can get some donations, we're going to throw the ice bucket on Willis. That's what we're going to do.
Shoot, and I'll even take one for the team. I don't care.
I'm just going to throw it on Willis.
Oh, no messages. Come on.
Oh, man, come on. Hey, get out there. Message us. Go to Facebook. Look at the Cheap Seats with Steve and Steve. Let us know. I mean, we got the ice bucket going on. Hey, we need to talk some baseball. Because baseball is really, really hopping. And around here, it's exciting as hell right now because the Chicago Cubs are one of the hottest teams right now. I mean, this is a team that has been winning, and just they've gone from looking at the wild card, and chasing the Giants to they're now 4.5 games up on the Giants. But the other thing is they're only a game and a half behind the Pirates for the lead in the wild card.
And they're only 7.5 behind the Cardinals.
That
now,
is right.
Could it happen? Hey, stranger things in baseball have happened.
That is right.
And what'd you say? They just who was it that said? Lester. They said just keep playing stupid.
Yeah, John Lester said just play.
Play like nobody's watching. That's what he meant. Just because that's what you do. It takes the edge off, and it's just the things that they have done.
Well,
7 in a row.
They've won 7 in a row. They're 9-1. Right now they're playing right now against the White Sox, and actually they are winning right now. They're up on the White Sox 6-5. Which is, Coughlin has 2 home runs today, 4 RBIs. How about Kyle Schwarber? Schwarber last night, 2 more home runs. I mean, if you're looking at Rookie of the Year, I mean, all you got to do is look at the Cubs.
Yeah, because you got Rizzo, Bryant.
Well, no, Rizzo's not a rookie.
Oh.
But you got Bryant. You got Russell. You've got Coughlin. I mean, you got Schwarber. I mean, you got these guys. Who do you pick? You can just go. I mean, yes, you got Jock Peterson over L.A., but he's batting about 240. But I mean,
Chris Bryant, he's just been.
Well, Bryant, he's
been a performer.
He has done tremendously well. I mean, if you take a look at the leaders, Bryant is going to be right up there in RBIs. I believe he has about 66 RBIs. He's tied for 24th in the league, not just in the National League, but the whole league. 66 RBIs in his rookie year. That's not too damn bad.
No.
So he's getting it done that way. But Schwarber has just been unbelievable. I mean, he has come up and he has just belted about 8 or 9 home runs now already.
I mean, just
unbelievable. Bryant has 16 on the year. So I mean, and the one thing that I read about Bryant is that his defense, that was supposed to be the liability of him, was going to be his defense, and he actually has played very good defense for the Cubs this year.
And didn't you say A-Ball has another really promising?
Well, the South Bend Cubs have Gleyber Torres. Now, Gleyber Torres is a shortstop, and he is in the top 50. Rankings of all minor league players right now. In fact, I think he's a little bit higher than that. This kid can play. This kid is a defensive whiz. But the thing that has been surprising, he's only 19 years old, is he's hitting the ball. And they've got a couple other guys down there. They've got another catcher down there that is doing tremendous. They've got an outfielder that's been doing fantastic. I'm trying to think of the guy that's had... oh my God! Who's the guy they just sent down? I'm waiting for them to come up. He's had 6 or 7 multi-hit games in a row. They've got a lot of hitting coming down there. Now, the biggest move that the Cubs have made over the last couple of weeks is they've taken Starlin Castro out of the starting lineup. Did you see that?
I did.
Starlin Castro, who was an all-star, in this first couple of years, this was the guy they wanted to build the team around between Castro and Rizzo. And this year, Castro, he can't bat himself out of a paper bag.
He hasn't been very productive this year.
No, he hasn't. And the other thing is I was the first one last year said trade him, get rid of him. And he's got a very good, he's got a great team contract, which he does. He's still the Cubs have him under contract for another couple of years, and it's a very reasonable contract and everything else, and they have the control for him. But the problem is he's not living up to it. Right now what they've done just to get Coughlin's bat in there, get Schwarber's bat in there. Schwarber's been out in left field. They moved Coughlin to second, moved Addison Russell over to short. Russell is one of the best defensive shortstops in the league. Not just in the National League, but in the whole major leagues. And I still think if you can, at the end of the season, you trade Castro. The problem is his asking price has come down tremendously. What you're going to get back is not going to be, I think, what you're looking at. And I think that's where they're going to take and maybe package him up with a Baez or something like that to see if they can get, a number 2 or a number 3 starter. When the season is over, the Cubs are going to make a huge, huge play for some young man named Price, I believe. Because his former manager, Joe Madden, of course, now sits in the dugout of the Chicago Cubs. And also his former pitching coach also sits over there with the Cubs. So, I mean, he's got a lot of things over there. And this is a team that's exciting right now. This is a team that is poised to win, not just now,
but for a while.
But for the foreseeable future. Remember, this was not supposed to be the year for the Cubs. This wasn't.
Next year was supposed to be the year.
This was a year where they started putting the pieces together. They got John Lester. They signed him to a nice big 4 or 5 year contract. They got him in there. They got these kids, and they've got control over the kids. Remember, they stopped. They delayed bringing up Chris Bryant for a couple of weeks, just so they had control over him for another year. So, I mean, this is something that the Cubs brass, Theo Epstein, they've thought this out. They've played it over, and they're just coming together. And as we talked about last week, when John Lester said what he's looking forward to is the Cubs playing stupid, like they've never been there. They got nothing to lose, and
play
just
like
loose.
Nobody's watching.
Well, they are, and that's what they're doing. I mean, this team is just. I mean, it's fun to watch again. And it's fun to watch. I mean, after the last couple of years, remember watching the Cubs over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it hadn't been very exciting.
90 losses, 100. I mean, this is a team.
They're going to have 90 wins this year.
Oh, they're at least.
They'll do at least 90.
I mean, they're what, 15 over 500 right now?
Yeah, 60. Okay. Yeah, 64 and 48 right now.
16 games over 500. Okay, 16 games over 500 is what, 88 wins?
I'd say so. So
wait. I'm sorry. 89 wins.
I give them
89.
I give them 92.
Okay, so you think they're going to get a little bit further
And
over.
you know what? With 92 wins and with a great free agent crop that's going to be coming up this offseason, it's going to really make the Cubs an attractive market. Well, so they might not get just Price. They might get somebody else, too.
Well, and the thing is what they need is they need another pitcher. They need another good quality pitcher. And they need a good hitting corner outfielder. Right now they got Schwarber in there, but you can believe in the offseason Schwarber is going to get more and more play at catcher because that's where he plays. And if not, I mean, they're going to start taking a look at, okay, what can we do in the right field corner? But I got a feeling they're going to get Schwarber behind the plate. They're going to get rid of Montero. They're going to get rid of Ross, one of them. More than likely Montero because Ross is Lester's pet pitcher or pet catcher. And we're going to see Schwarber in that lineup because they cannot let his bat go to waste. And that's what they're doing right now is they're keeping him in playing left field. But if they can get a deal for a corner outfielder that can hit, almost like a Cespedes, Can you imagine him on that team also?
It'll be 100 wins.
I mean, this is a team that is poised. But again, we've seen that before. We've seen that before. Remember going back to the Bartman area.
2003.
There you go. Remember going back when they had, the pitching. Where they had Kerry.
They had the hitting, too.
My God, they did. Moises Alou. They had all those guys there. Mr. P on his hands, Moises Alou. Do you remember that, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, it toughened up his hands.
Just the slick throwing of Alex Gonzalez at shortstop, too. I mean, they didn't have the biggest bats in the world, but they had a lot of offensive power.
I mean, it was a team that was built for that
and they were so fun to watch. And I remember at the beginning of the year, I had picked Cubs-Yankees to be in that World Series. God, so close.
But this is a team, again, that is fun. Very fun to watch. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see that. Now, as we talked about the Cubs being as hot as they are right now, 7 in a row, 9-1, what about the damn Toronto Blue Jays?
They're even hotter.
12-0. They've won their last 12 games. Like I said, since they've acquired Troy Tulowitzki, right before the trade deadline, 14-1. you talk about a team that is on a mission. I mean, when these guys put this together, and I haven't talked to David May. I got to talk to David May here and see what he's thinking, because this is just unbelievable. I don't think I thought that they were going to get the spurt, and I thought that they were poising themselves to put themselves in that position. But with the acquisition of Tulowitzki, the acquisition of Price to join with Donaldson, to join with Bautista, with Encarnacion, this type
Russell
of
Martin too.
I mean, this offense is just unbelievable. The pitching wasn't all that solid, but you look at Mark Burley, 13 wins. Dickey hasn't been the same as he was a couple years back, but he still gives you a lot of innings. He's an innings eater. But you throw David Price in there now, and now you got a classic number one starter, and you've got the pieces to follow him up. And this is something, I mean, the offense itself has just been unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Let's take a look at RBIs. Okay? Number one, Josh Donaldson, 85 RBIs. Not bad.
Not a surprise there.
Jose Bautista, he's number 6 in the major leagues with 79 RBIs. I mean, you're talking, a lot of power.
He was the guy that had the 50 home run season a couple of years ago, didn't he? I think he did.
Yeah, Bautista, yeah. And Encarnacion tied for 30th with 64 RBIs. So, I mean, these are some guys that, I mean, they're really Tulowitzki, 59 RBIs. So, I mean, you've got 4 guys in the top 50 in RBIs. So, I mean, you're talking people that, we didn't even get to Russell Martin. I mean, we didn't get to Encarnacion. These are some guys that are putting up some huge, huge numbers. And just to watch them play and watch the excitement that's happening a little bit north of the border, I mean, this has just been unbelievable, and it's fun. It's fun for baseball right now.
It's been 22 years.
Well, it has been, but here's the thing. In the last couple of years, when with baseball, we really haven't had, the excitement that I think we're seeing this year.
No.
I mean, if you take a look in the American League, you get the Blue Jays half game up on the Yankees. Okay. But we've had the Rays, but it's always the Yankees, the Orioles, the Red Sox. The Orioles the last couple of years. But the thing is, the Orioles weren't that exciting. This Toronto team is just exciting. In the Central League, I mean, I'd love to, the Central Division, in any other year, Kansas City leading that division by 11.
And last year it was razor thin close.
Well, it was because you had Detroit, playing so well, and Kansas City snuck in on the wild card. They won the wild card game, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they're in the World Series, and they almost win the damn thing. But then out the West, the Astros. Who? The Astros. This is a team that lost 100 games the last 2 years, and right now they're leading the West. They're leading the vaunted L.A. Angels, the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles, something like that. Texas still hanging there. Remember I told you to watch Texas. They're still only 5 games out.
And they're still in this.
They
some
still
teams
are.
might have peaked at the wrong time too. You never know.
And the thing is that, the rain. I am still impressed with the Texas Rangers. And the Texas Rangers getting Cole Hamels to go down there. You got Hamels, you got Lewis, you've got some nice pitching down there, and they're starting to get the hitting. I mean, Fielder's doing a great job, and they're just getting some timely hitting down there. The Mariners have just been a disappointment. The Mariners, the Tigers went into the wholesale. If you look at the Tigers right now, 55 and 59, that team is going to get overhauled this summer. We're taking a look at a team that's just going to get, I think, switched out, and they've got Miguel Cabrera, and it's like you just go, okay, what are you going to do with Miguel? He's not going to be happy being there now that they're trying to restock and everything.
He's going to want out immediately.
He's going to want something. You're going to have to give me some type of guarantees. What the heck is going on? Yes, he has got the big contract. He said, well, he's got a big contract. That's a great guarantee. And these guys still want to win. They still want to win.
You want to enjoy your time in Detroit, don't you?
But here's the thing. Now you go over to the National League. Who'd have thought the Mets would be leading this late in the season. We're leading in the second week of August, 4.5 games over the Nationals. 4.5 games over the best pitching staff in baseball going into the season. And how that has switched to where right now the Mets, if you take a look at their pitching, that's a damn good pitching squad.
Just like the Braves of the 90s.
That is right. The Mets now, 4.5 up on the Nationals. You go out west and the Dodgers and Giants. Dodgers having a hard time. 4-6 over the last 10. The same with the Giants. This is a time right now that the West was supposed to be this tremendous thing. What's this going to be for the Dodgers if they get to the playoffs and fizzle out again? What do they have, like a $250 million payroll?
Yeah, and they're going to have to find a way to free some of that up by next year.
And the thing is, I think you may see an overhaul of the whole the upper management staff, because this is just unacceptable when you're going to spend this amount of money on the type of team that you're putting together. And right now, to say that they've been disappointing is that's mild.
Now, I do remember when Joe Torre was the skipper, and they in my opinion, they had more success with Joe Torre. Do you remember Eric Gagne? How lights out he was? Russell Martin and then Clayton Kershaw right when he was just coming up. They had Kemp and. They had a very they were always able to get the player. Now right now Yasiel Puig, and this is a guy that they have just messed with, but he hasn't performed. He's just been mediocrity.
Well, he has, but he's caused a lot of controversy himself. And this is what you've got on this team. I'm not as impressed with them. I love their pitching. I love the fact you got Kershaw out there, you got Greinke out there, you got them 1-2. That's tremendous. But I haven't been set with their everyday lineup. Since about the All-Star break, they haven't done anything. And now we get to the Central. Now, who would have thought this? Okay, the Central Division, with your top three of the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Cubs. In the overall scheme of things, those are 3 out of the top 4 records in baseball. Did you know that?
And that has not happened in a long time.
In baseball, the only team, the Cardinals have the best record in baseball, 73-41. Okay, the Pirates. Okay.
66-46.
66-46. There's only one team ahead of them. That's the Royals, 68-46, because they played 2 more. And the thing is, the Cubs are only a game and a half back of that at 65-48. 3 out of your top 4 records in baseball are out of the Central Division in the National League. Who'd have thought that? You went into the season. Yes, the Cardinals were going to be good. We knew they were going to be good. We didn't know how good they were going to be. This is even more surprising for me, the record that the Cardinals had. I did not expect this. I expected them to be good. I expected them to be leading the Central Division. But if you would have told me in August that they were going to be 32 games over 500, I would have said no way. No way.
I wouldn't have expected that. At least a little closer record, like 50, 55 losses. But
I would have figured about where the Pirates are, where the Cubs are. 15, 16 games over 500. I figured that's about where the Cardinals would be, not 32.
But I think Mike Matheny is going to be ready for October. They will be a force to reckon with.
I do. I'm not as sold on the Cardinals as I should be. I'm not. They're not a flashy team. They're not a team that you just go, yeah, wow, I love watching the Cardinals play. The Cardinals, it's like they just go out and do business. We're just going to go out and do our job.
Do work.
We're going to do our job. We're going to get things done, and they have. They've gotten a lot of great thing, and you take a look at what Carpenter has done at the top of that lineup. This is a team that, again, you wouldn't expect, this team, when you look at it, you lost your number 1 pitcher before the season really even started. Okay, you lost it. When you take a look at, their top offensive guy, Matt Carpenter, 60 RBIs. That's it. That's their top offensive producer. Their second one is Peralta. And he has, I think, 50-some RBIs. But when you look at the leaders being at, 85 RBIs, and your top, this is your whole league leading team. Their top RBI guy has 60. Remember, how many did we have in the top 50 from Toronto? 4?
I had 4 of them.
Okay. They had 4. And the bottom one, I think, was at 60. Let me make sure. I just want to. The bottom one was at 59. So they have 4 with 59 or more RBIs. The Cardinals' leading RBI guy is at 60.
Now, you do remember that Adam Wainwright was hurt.
Yes, that's what I said.
But you know what?
I mean, they lost their top pitcher. I think he pitched, two starts this year, 2 or 3?
But how about this? Since 1995, they have 2.93 ERA.
Yeah. Oh no. They're
still a way solid.
They continue to bring up pitchers.
It's the Cardinal way.
But of course, the Cardinal way kind of went a little bit by a little bit when they got caught, sneaking into the Houston Astros, scouting deck. And that may play a role with that too. But I think that's kind of gone off on the back burner as far as what's going on with that. Here the Cardinals are still leading by 32, and we've given that up. We want to talk about Deflategate for how many months? Almost a year now, or 6 months, 7 months. But when we get to a point where we got a team that's cheating by hopping into someone else's scouting booth, we just kind of let that go because it's the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, it's no biggie.
No. Now, there has been some other major news that has come up in the world of baseball, and that being Red Sox manager John Farrell today, who told reporters that he's been diagnosed with stage 1 lymphoma, and he's going to be leaving the team for the remainder of the season. That is just a shock. I mean, Farrell, Farrell, of course, who had been with the Red Sox early on in his career, went up to Toronto and managed up there, and then he came back down to Boston. Right now, he's going, man, I should have stayed up in Toronto, I think. But today, announced that he has stage 1 lymphoma. It was discovered during a hernia surgery in Detroit on Monday. He's only 53 years old. He's actually younger than I am. Father of 3. He's going to begin chemotherapy treatments next week. He said the illness is very curable. He said it was extremely fortunate it was found at an early stage. And this is something that just... it's shocking when you take a look at how young he is, and it's something you just don't expect.
Fathom.
No, you just don't expect. And you look at this: the Red Sox, they won the World Championship back in 2013 under Farrell. Right now, taking over for him in the last couple of months here, Torey Lovullo. We'll take over the last 2 months, and our thoughts and prayers go out to John Farrell as he
the whole family.
Well, it does as he fights this disease, and hopefully everything the chemotherapy works out, and he kicks this thing right where it needs to be kicked, right in the low ones there. But other baseball news today: Barry Bonds cleared of charges. Barry Bonds today, let me see if I can find it here. The government's pursuit of Bonds ended July 21st with a one-paragraph motion by the U.S. Department of Justice announcing Solicitor General Donald B. Verrilli said he would not ask the U.S. Supreme Court to review the appellate decision that overturned Bonds' obstruction of justice conviction. And it's basically now... they've dropped those charges. They dropped what was left of the criminal case against him last month after nearly a decade-long steroids prosecution. Bond says, I can say yes, there's a lot because a lot of pressure lifted off of him. The weight has been lifted off my shoulder. I've never been much of a talker. That's never been my game. I don't have time to put people down. I don't have time to do all that stuff. I don't care to. If people want to say a negative thing, that's their opinion.
However, getting into the Hall of Fame, it's still going to be hard.
Well, that's my question to you. Now that he's been cleared of criminal charges, is he going to get into the Hall of Fame? Would you vote for him?
No, and in and with the 2015 ballot, he had 36.8% of the votes. However, you do know he needs 75, but it's going to be hard because, you got Sosa, Maguire.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that, the biggest thing dogging Barry Bonds was this criminal case.
It did.
Did he take steroids? Did he do this? And he says, yes, I took steroids and everything else, but he thought it was something else. I thought it was linseed oil or whatever it was, and I thought it was something else that they were doing. I had no idea, that this was steroids. I thought it was flaxseed oil and arithmetic balm.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
But too,
it ain't steroids. That's what he's saying.
And I always told you this too. Like the Giants, look at what happened after Bonds left. Look at how much better of a team they became. I mean,
yeah, because
I really blame their, the lack of success on Bonds. There was so much distraction. But
yes and no. I just, I don't know how you play that. I just, Bonds. Yeah, because he was a distraction himself. I mean, just him being there was a big distraction.
He drew so much attention to himself.
Well, he did. But, I mean, here's the thing. Is Barry Bonds worthy of going into the Hall of Fame? I mean, would that change your vote with this ruling?
I think we should take it out to Facebook.
If you were voting right now, would you vote Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame? That's a good thing. I mean, take that, bring that to us on our Facebook page at Cheap Seats with Steve and Steve. Would you, if you had a vote for the Hall of Fame, would you vote for Barry Bonds now? Now that this has been lifted, now that they've dropped their case against him, and here's the thing: it doesn't say he's guilty, it doesn't say he's innocent. They just dropped the case. That's the thing.
That doesn't mean nothing.
Well, it means they aren't convicting him. His conviction was overturned. They aren't going to continue with it. So, speaking of the Giants, the Giants have now made an offer for Chase Utley. Remember, Chase Utley was put on waivers, and it says that the Giants, I believe he cleared waivers, and the Giants have confirmed they made an offer to the Phillies to acquire Chase Utley. So, I mean, that was a big bat out there that people were talking about over the last couple of years, or last couple of weeks, I should say. Other teams that were reportedly interested, the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Yankees. So, it's going to be interesting to see as we head into the end of August here. This is where, remember, we talked about this a little bit last week. This is where you play the free agent game, or I should say you play the waiver game. You place these people on waivers, some of your players, they either have bad contracts or they're not playing like they should. And what you want to do is you want to put them out there. If someone claims them and it goes through the whole process, then you have 48 hours to make a deal or pull it back. If someone does claim, if they do not claim it, if it goes through all of the waivers and no one has claimed them, then you have the ability to make a trade with any team. Now, if someone claims them on waivers and you pull them back and say we're not going to deal with them, you cannot put them on waivers for the rest of the season. But what it does is it gives you an idea of who is interested in him. So when you get to the offseason, trust me, that's the first person you're going to call. You say, okay, hey, you were interested in him and you made the claim on waivers. Let's talk trade now. Let's get in and let's talk trade now. And you get to see, what some of these teams are looking at. But
Utley might have himself a good home in San Francisco because there are only 2 games out of the division lead.
Well, what they are, and that's, the thing is the Cubs have also been interested, and the rumor was that they'd bring Utley in. Utley would go to second base, keep Russell at short. You could put Coughlin back out in left field.
And get rid of Castro.
And then, Castro's not playing right now as it is. But you got better defense at second base with Utley over Coughlin. And Coughlin out left field is better defense than Schwarber. You put Schwarber behind the plate. So, I mean, you've got a way in which you can, increase the flexibility of what you can do with your team. And plus you can increase the defense a little bit better also. By adding him in there for the Cubs. But again, I mean, a guy like Utley out there, a good veteran, a solid player, a good character guy, this is someone that a lot of teams would want. Now, how about this? The Yankees are going to honor A-Rod for his 3,000th hit that he got earlier this year. Remember, his 3,000th hit was a home run. That was back on June 19th. He became the 29th member of the 3,000 hit club. He has 660 home runs. I mean, he's only one of, the third player in Major League Baseball history with at least 3,000 hits and 600 home runs. So they're going to honor him coming up. That'll be in a pregame ceremony on September 13th when the Yankees host the Toronto Blue Jays.
And
big series.
Lose again.
Big series. Well, you can't say that. I mean, September 13th is a long way away. That's a whole month away. And as hot as the Blue Jays have been over the last couple of weeks, you can go just as cold. So, I mean, I don't see them doing that, but I think this is going to be a fight all the way to the end. But here's another talk. We talked about Bonds. A-Rod. A-Rod was suspended the whole year because of the Balco, the whole thing down there. Is this a guy that is Hall of Fame worthy? Is this a guy you would vote for the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so either. I mean,
3,000 hits, 660 home runs.
Nah, Derek Jeter stands a better chance than anything.
Well, we aren't talking Jeter, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we aren't questioning Jeter, his character or anything like that. I'm talking A-Rod. A-Rod, who has been linked to steroids, has talked about, steroids. He actually missed a full year, came back. I mean, he's having a good year this year. He's having a great year this year.
Yeah, I just don't think so. But you know what? We'll just put that out there as well. Would you vote A-Rod in as well?
I mean, if you take a look at this, baseball right now, I mean, it is on fire. I mean, when you get the Cubs and you got the Blue Jays doing what they're doing, but these teams that we're going to see in the playoffs, and right now if the playoffs started, I mean, the Blue Jays weren't in last year. Kansas City was, but I mean, that was a surprise there.
Not expected.
Houston was not in. The Yankees were not in, and the Angels were in. So you go over to the American League, and you got two teams in. You got 6 teams all together, and only 2 teams from last year make it this year.
That's what I call parity.
Yeah, and that would be Kansas City and the Angels. Now, if you go over to the National League, the Mets weren't in last year. Okay, the Cardinals were and the Pirates were, and the Dodgers were, but the Cubs weren't. So I mean, you've got 4 teams over there that were in the playoffs last year, but you got 2 new ones. And when you add New York and you add Chicago, you add what, number 2 and number 3 market in the nation? Between Los Angeles, New York, you had number 1 and I think Chicago's number 3 market.
And that's why I'm really hoping that the playoffs will happen like this because, you just don't know who's going to win. I mean, anybody out there. The National League is a baseball dream right now with the Mets and the Cubs doing what they're doing because they're going, God, let's stop the season right now because we want these teams in the playoffs. God, that would be a ratings killer. So it's going to be interesting, and we're winding down here on the baseball season, but, we're still in the second week in August. We still have, a month and a half to go? Yep. And then
we still have a month and a half to go. We finish up at the end of September, and then we start the playoffs. But these are games that are coming right down to it, and I tell you, it is exciting. What is happening on the north side is just exciting in Chicago. I mean, you're seeing people just come out of the woodwork. But the other thing is I'm looking at my Facebook page and all my Cub fans. My Cub fans have actually become, and this is surprising, they've become silent because I don't think we want to jinx them right now. I don't want us to go, hey, Cubs win, Cubs win. Oh my God, I don't want to say that. I just let them keep winning. Let them keep. Let's keep
Don't
watching.
say anything.
Well, and that's it. And that's what's been going on. So I mean, it's something that just is heating up, and we're going to get into it a little bit more. But as we hit September 1st and we start winding down, I mean, it's going to be pennant fever, and it's going to be hotter than hell in here.
But let me ask you this:
Okay.
Out of all the teams that we talked about, do you think somebody else might get hot that we haven't even talked about?
Well, like I said, in looking at this, the teams that I was looking at as far as to get a shot. I mean, I picked the Blue Jays. I told you that.
Oh, I agree.
And I told you the Cubs were going to get hot. I said that was the wild card right there. I still believe the Rangers get hot. I still believe the Rangers are going to get hot. I got a feeling right now that the Angels are not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, the Angels are overrated.
I tell you, between the Angels and the Yankees, one of those teams is not going to make the playoffs. I'm still worried about the Yankees pitching.
Or even all their veteran players, for that matter.
Well, the offense and the field. I'm not worried about. I'm more worried about their starting pitching. I'm not sold on Sabathia. I'm not sold on Tanaka. I just don't. Nova. It just, to me, that's their weak link. I like the additions that the Rangers did. Anaheim has just been so up and down, and they just have not been consistent. But I got a feeling we're going to see either Anaheim or the Yankees fall out of the playoff here. And that's what I look for over in the National League. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for the Nationals to get hot. I'm waiting for the Nationals to get hot and the Mets to cool off. It's just not happening.
And I'm waiting for the Giants.
Yeah, I think you're going to be waiting. I really do. To me, it's almost like put a fork in them. I just don't think they're going to be there. But they've been like this, like you said, the last couple of years they've been like that. But they've also done the win the World Series, not make the playoffs. Win the World Series,
not make the playoffs.
There you go.
So yeah, we're in an odd numbered year. So maybe you're right. Maybe the theory is still going to be correct.
So we will see. Hey, we've got a break coming on. When we get back, it started last night, and God, was it fun to watch. Actually, it started last Sunday, but it hit full stream last night. And of course, I'm talking about NFL football. When we get back, we're going to take a look at some of the games last night, what to look at coming up. You are listening to the Cheap Seats right here on XERS Radio.
Tune in Wednesday night at 6 p.m. for Through the Deep Tracks with Bill McDonald.
We want to welcome you back to XERS Radio.
Through the Deep Tracks.
Show tonight, and we're traveling down the highway here. Strap on your helmet, board the short bus. It's going to be a rough ride. You're traveling the deep tracks tonight with Mr. Bell. We're in
Through the Deep Tracks.
And I want to wish him a happy birthday. We're going to carry on now with a song from the Rolling Stones, and actually, it was this week. And a happy birthday this week. He just turned 62 this week. And we're going to finish out the evening with a track here, the third track from the album.
Wednesday nights at 6, only on the X. XCRSradio.com. Through the Deep Tracks.
Where do you go when you're looking for great food, a cold drink, and some of the best local live music? I go to the Phoenix, located on the corner of Lincoln Way and Main Street in historic downtown Mishawaka. Thursday nights, it's open jam with $2 well drinks. Friday and Saturdays, there's always live music with no cover charge. Great food, cheap drinks, excellent service. The place to be is the Phoenix.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Cheap Seats on XCRS Radio. We got the man, Steve Dedeman, right next to me. Wave hi.
Hey, I'm over here.
And you got yours truly, Josh Briggs. We're heading into the second hour of the madness, where it's always sunny and 75. We'll add a couple 100 degrees to it because that's how it feels outside. So if you're looking for anything to do this weekend, go to the Phoenix tonight, downtown Mishawaka. Our very own Bill McDonald is going to be out there as Red Alert will be playing tonight. And you know what? If you want something to eat, also just hop a couple blocks down to Rock Sports Grill.
Oh.
And we're throwing it out there because just remember, if you eat at Rock's, we salute you.
There you go.
So I'm ready to get back to the sports. I know you are. So let's
tell
do
you,
it.
I'm excited, Josh. Thank you for bringing that and reading those in. Remember, Steve Willis back in a couple of weeks, and of course, I miss him because I want to talk football with the young man. Of course, Steve, on the side, he does some writing for the Kansas City Chiefs. Does some Kansas City Chief writing.
He is a Chiefs lifer, and I love it.
Oh, he is. He is. Last night, football. I was able to pull up my wife and I went out. We got a 50-inch screen TV, one of the big boys, and I got to watch football for the first time on it. I was watching the Packers and the Patriots. Remember that game last year they played in the regular season up in Green Bay, the nail biter that the Packers won?
Back and forth.
That's right.
Back and forth.
And then the Packers end up winning that game right towards the end there. This one was played out in New England. Of course, I mean, you're only going to get the starting players out there for about a quarter at the most, and then you bring in the backups and you get to see what happens. The Packers, of course, took it with 22-11. And I got a feeling, you go 22-11. What the hell happened with the score?
Well, it wasn't accurate either.
Well, no, I think what you're going to see now that they've backed the extra point back to the 20, where you're kicking 33 yards for an extra point. You're going to see teams going for the 2-point conversion, and that's what happened last night. These teams went for the 2-point conversion a couple different times, so it was quite interesting. One thing that happened last night that hasn't happened up in Green Bay for a long time now, since Mike McCarthy took over there, is Mike McCarthy did not call the offensive plays last night. That's right. Remember, over the offseason, Mike McCarthy gave his play calling ability to Tom Clements. He had Tom Clements calling the offense. Now that's something new and
something very unusual.
Well, it is. And and the thing is that as Mike McCarthy said, I mean, he enjoyed the game more not calling the plays. He said during halftime interview that he was a little bored stiff because he hadn't been able to do the plays and he's not used to it. He said he was telling ESPN, it looked like I didn't know what to do with my hands. It's funny. I'll work on it. I'll go look at the tape. But I mean, Tom Clements came in, called the ball, called the plays for Green Bay. Green Bay 27-43 for 273 yards and 2 touchdowns from the quarterbacks. I think he did a pretty good job. I would say that was a really good job of managing the offense, and it was really neat to see just the energy. And one thing about last night is no one expected Tom Brady to be out there. He was a question mark all the way leading up to the beginning of the game, and he did start. He went out there and played a little bit. It wasn't the best performance for Mr. Brady. He only played a little part of the first quarter, but he did get out there. Then he had Jimmy Garoppolo come in. Yeah, that guy. Well, here's the thing. You got to remember, Brady is still waiting to find out what's going to happen as far as his Deflategate punishment. He is rumored. I mean, still right now it's a 4-game suspension, but they're trying to work out everything before it is ruled upon as far as what's going to happen. So, I mean, that's going to be quite interesting. Brady, he completed 1 of 4 passes while playing. He was just in 2 series, a 3-and-out and a 4-and-out. Garoppolo went 20 for 30 with 159 yards. Didn't have a TD, but he did have one interception. He was sacked 7 times. 7 times last night. I think that's something either you need to talk to your quarterback about moving a little bit more, or you might want to get out there and have a little talk with the offensive line about what the hell they're doing, because 7 sacks in a game, that's just unbelievable. So, that was, and it was fun. I mean, I'm watching the games, and they're going back and forth, into some of the different ones that are going on. The Lions last night, they beat the Jets 23-3. We'll talk a little bit more about the Jets here in a little bit. Ravens over the Saints. Redskins beat the Browns, but the Redskins had a big injury. Niall Paul, their tight end, out for the year. Already, I mean, that's the one thing that preseason just you aren't ready for, is you get out there and play and you lose that major player for you in the first game or the second game, and it's horrible. The Bears, they start out the John Fox, Caesar, the John Fox.
They had a good night too.
They did. They won 27-10 over the Dolphins. And the Chargers took care of the Cowboys 17-7 last night. So, our first week of preseason football is in the midst. I mean, there are quite a few games on tonight. What, 2, 4, 6, 7?
You know what I'm excited for?
What's that?
The Marcus Mariota era begins tonight, and he's looking good, folks. I mean, this spot-on throws and everything, but this is going to be his first true test in the pocket. And I know Willis said that he wasn't going to be a pocket passer. We'll see what happens tonight. I mean, they play the Falcons down at the Georgia Dome. And I got a lot of faith that Ken Wisenhunt's going to be ready to go tonight.
Well, that game's already started, but Falcons with the ball. Titans have not gotten it yet. 6 games on tap for tonight, and tomorrow it'll finish off, or there'll be 3 games tomorrow, 1 game on Sunday. Colts and Eagles on Sunday. That's going to be a good game.
That's going to be one to get the pizza right.
And the thing is that, right now, the NFL preseason games gives you what you want. It gives you a little sample. Football's back. And you get a chance to watch the starters get out there, get a little rust off for about the first couple of series, first quarter maybe. And then it's on to seeing, okay, who's going to be the backups that we need? Who are the guys that are going to make this team? And it's fun to watch. It really is, because you see some guys you never heard of, and you just go, my God, that guy's great. And you want to follow them, and you want to see what they do. And the cuts come by, and you go, okay, he's still there. Okay, that's great. And and these are the guys that become, this is the guy that's a gunner. For the punts. This is the guy on the special teams. This is the guy that comes in and takes the place when you have an injury. So it's fun to see these guys come up. Now, how would you like to be the New York Jets? How would you like to be Coach Todd Bowles?
I wouldn't.
I mean,
after all the stuff that's happened,
you sit there and you go, okay, I'm going to take over this Jets program from, the fat boy that was here before that just ran his mouth. Of course, that's Rex Ryan. I've got a good quarterback. We're gonna get him back and kind of repair the damage that he had over the last couple of years. And all of a sudden, your quarterback is having surgery to have a plate put in his jaw and screws put in because he got punched in the face by a teammate. What the hell is going on in New York?
Yeah.
Geno Smith got his jaw broken, and this was all over. It depends on who you listen to. It's something, they were arguing over money that, the story out there that the player, and I can't even announce this guy's name, Ikamafuna Enemkpali? Is that
I believe that's it.
Enemkpali or something? Well, anyways, supposedly Enemkpali was having some type of charity event. Invited Geno Smith there. Geno Smith couldn't make it. The guy had paid for his his ticket already, and he asked Geno Smith to reimburse him for the ticket. Geno Smith said he'd take care of it. They didn't take care of it. $600 is what they were going after, and all of a sudden this guy punches him right in the jaw. Sucker punches him in the jaw, breaks his jaw.
But he said he never meant to hurt him, though.
Never meant to hurt him, but sucker punched him in the jaw, and he's out for 6 weeks at least.
Well, you know what?
6 to 10 weeks. Unbelievable.
But you know what, though? I think, in my opinion, they should deduct from his contract because, Geno Smith, that's a lot of money right there.
Sure. Whose contract are they going to take away from him?
Enem Kapali.
Well, they cut him.
Oh, that's
they instantly cut him. And you know what happened? He got picked up.
Signed.
He got signed by guess who? Rex Ryan. That's right.
Bills.
Rex Ryan up in Buffalo said, hey, I'll take you.
Come on up.
Hey, thank you for breaking that guy's jaw. I'm just going to bring you up here to put a little more salt in the wound a little bit there. Of course, in Enkapala, he came out and said, it should never happen. I should have walked away from the situation. It was never my intention to hurt anybody.
Well, you did.
You did, yeah. And the thing is, this isn't the first time that he's had issues, I guess, punching some guys. And right now he could be disciplined by the NFL for violating the league's personal conduct charge.
Which is another one we'll have to add to the list. I mean, geez, the pile of players is just, it's almost to the ceiling that have violated.
Right. I mean, the guy came out, he said, I want to apologize to the Jets organization, the fans, my teammates, and the coaches. I apologize for what happened. It should never happen. I should have walked away from the situation. It was never my intention to hurt anybody. Unbelievable. Only in New York. Only in New York does that happen.
However, too, he didn't really have a lot of leadership there. I mean, it showed in the lineup. Yeah. I mean, even Chris Carter backs it up. I mean, he says that the lack of leadership led to him getting punched. I mean, you're the quarterback. I mean, when you're in the locker room, you need to be, facilitating things. I mean, if the coach is not around, the quarterback is the guy, Well,
here's the thing. I mean, have the coaches lost control over the players?
It's debatable. It just depends on which players, though, because Rex Ryan, he towards the end of his run with the Jets, he didn't have a lot of success. At controlling them.
No,
that's why he's gone.
Yeah,
but maybe with the Bills will have better luck. But the Jets are definitely a dysfunctional organization. I mean,
no, you think?
Yeah, I mean, look at what happened to Mark Sanchez. He's gone, and I mean, they had something special there. I mean, what was it? 3 consecutive AFC Championship game appearances?
Yes, it was. But I mean, they just
they lost it.
It imploded. Now you've seen coaches get mad. You've played on teams where coaches got mad and get upset with lackluster effort. In that, did you see what Mike Zimmer did for the Minnesota Vikings?
I didn't see that one.
Mike Zimmer. The Vikings were set to have their final practice in their Mankato portion of their training camp this last Thursday morning, then head back to Minneapolis for the evening. Well, the players, of course, getting ready to leave town, getting out of the sticks and back to the big city, kind of coasted in practice. So Zimmer, what he did, he said, okay, take a lap. He had the team take a lap.
That's old school, baby. I love it.
He had a team take a lap, called them together, yelled at them a little bit, and expressed his dismay and dismissed them. He said the only positive from the day was that the team was going home.
Oh, man. I love that. I love that.
Well, the best thing I like is he was asked if he was going to lean on his veterans to get the team back in gear. His response, I'll lean on my size 10s. Wow. So, I mean... I
want to play for him. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, we take a look at some of the things that are going on, and it's just, it's unbelievable. And the coaches... The coaches are kind of caught there. I mean, what do you do? I mean, these guys are making millions of dollars, and if you don't have the players on your side, you're gone.
Then you're going to lose your job.
Well, you will. You will.
It's a certainty.
Now, here's something that's also going on. One thing that's been featured here quite a few times in the NFL right now in these training camps, fighting.
Yeah, they got to work on that.
I mean,
too.
this is something we've had fights breaking out in the locker rooms. Geno Smith getting his jaw broke. Was it Houston and Houston the Redskins when they had that big brawl? I mean, this is getting to the point to where it's becoming problematic.
And they're taking their frustrations out the wrong way.
Well, the thing is this is not what the league wants to promote. Remember, this is the cash cow of sports. The NFL brings in so much revenue. They have so much market and everything else. But when you have these situations come up, when you have, you just went through a horrible year. Last year for the NFL was horrible. When you consider, the McDonald case, the Ray Rice case, the Adrian Peterson case, everything that came up between assaults, Alden Smith, between the assaults, between the child abuse, everything else that came up, Deflategate, it was just horrible. And now this year you've had Deflategate carry over. You had the whole Alden Smith thing. You had the Ray McDonald thing up in Chicago where they took a chance on him and got rid of him right away because he got caught again.
And now Geno Smith.
You got the Geno Smith break. These things are just, and then you had the big fight.
And Cam Newton even too.
Cam Newton got into a big fight just the other day.
It just doesn't stop.
I don't, and this is something that, it's gotta just bother the NFL. So the league came out. The league executive vice president of football operations, Troy Vincent, reminded teams in a memo that he sent today. The prohibition on fighting is a point of emphasis in 2015. He reminded the teams the rulebook prohibits striking an opponent with fists, kicking or kneeing an opponent, and striking, swinging at, or clubbing the head, neck, or face of an opponent with the wrists, arms, elbows, or hands. This is something that, has got to be, a concern of the NFL. You're taking a look at your league, and your league's starting to run amok. Now, what does this play on Roger Goodell? How does this reflect upon him and his leadership right now?
It just kind of, I don't know. His leadership, there's no word to comment on it.
Is this something that, we could see, the NFL owners getting together and saying, hey, maybe we need a change at the top?
I think you might be right on that one.
Well, and that's something to consider because of when you just start naming down everything that's gone on in the last year and a half, it just keeps adding up. And it's to the point of, okay, what does the league do? But here's the question I have for you then.
All right.
Is this the league problem or is this a team problem?
Well, you know what? Like with all the issues in the league that have gone on over the past couple of years, like you said it before, Steve. They're taking their frustrations and their anger out the wrong way. They need to take out their anger towards winning games. That's what it's all about. That's what success is in the National Football League. It's not striking your wife or your girlfriend or abusing your child or punching a teammate.
But you got to remember, this is a game that you celebrate the hard hit. You celebrate the anger and the pain
but it's on your opponent.
It is
not against family members or anything like that. It should be against your opponent. That's what football is about.
But now we're starting to see fights.
And that's inexcusable.
When does the team take responsibility? When does the coaching staff take? Because remember, it's the team, it's the general managers that put these teams together. I can remember earlier this past fall, Green Bay Packer GM, Ted Thompson got up there and the president got up and talked and they apologized. They said, we are embarrassed for what our two players did this offseason. Remember, the Troy Guion was caught with the marijuana. And then you had Corliss, their tight end. They got caught for shooting some shots into the air. And they said, we are embarrassed. This is not, Packer football. This is not what we condone. when does it come back onto the team? Is this what the team should be doing? Should the teams be following the leads of the Packers? But the Packers didn't do anything. These guys are still playing.
Yeah, so
that's
accountability.
I mean, we can sit there and say, "Hey, we're embarrassed," but what'd you do? You signed Latroy Guy into another contract.
And, maybe the league should get together because accountability needs to happen more.
Well,
it really doesn't.
Here's the thing: if you would go to your job, let's say you're going to go to Martin's tomorrow, and you're there. And during your job, while you're there or on your way there, you're going to pull out a gun and shoot in the air. You're on your way to Martin's, and you pull out a gun and shoot in the air, and you get arrested.
Shoot, I'd get fired on the spot.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that. It's just, some organizations.
Why is it different then? Why is it different? Because it's professional sports?
Or maybe because these guys are like God's gift to money. They make tons of money.
Well, I think, it's not that they make tons of money. They make tons of money for the owners. They make tons of money for the organization. Too. I mean, can you imagine how much money is Adrian Peterson worth to the Minnesota Vikings?
Probably billions upon billions.
Well, I wouldn't go that way, but I mean, I would go, quite high. And that's the thing. I mean, for the Baltimore Ravens to cut Ray Rice and to cut ties with Ray Rice, remember, they hung on to him for as long as they could until the video came out. As soon as the video came out, they let him go. Why did they hang on to him for the period that they did?
Probably because they just weren't sure. I don't know.
No, I think it's because until that came out, until it became such a social outpour of just horror, they could justify having him on his team. Hey, well, we're giving him the chance and blah, 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 blah. But plus, he helped the team be better. Every win that the team made means more millions of dollars for the team coffers. It means more uniform sales. It means more butts in the seats. It means more, souvenirs, more food, more revenue. That's what they look at. These are our revenue makers. And until it came out to where all of a sudden, the revenue maker was also going to start costing us money because people were going to avoid coming to the stadium, which would mean no butts in the stands, which would mean no souvenir sales, which would mean no food sales, which might mean some advertisers pull their advertising, and we're going to lose our media sales. Now, when it becomes a negative, it's time to cut him. So, I mean, it gets to a point to where you just go, okay, when is enough enough? When does the league need to step up, put on their big boy pants, and start making some real decisions, start making some real rules with some real consequences and follow through? I mean, it's not Deflategate. I mean, that is such a, I mean, they've put so much time and effort over deflated footballs that they could have put into solving some of these other issues. And I don't understand it. And the reason that I see it is because, Deflategate doesn't really bother any one person or any one group of people. It's not going to bother your female sector. It's not going to bother any ethnicity. Okay, it's a rules thing.
It's just a nuisance thing.
Well, it is, and the thing is we're going to spend a lot of time on that. You know what, NFL? I would much rather have take Deflategate and say, okay, here's the fine, $1 million on the Patriots. You're going to lose a draft choice. Let's go. Take the time and effort you're putting into this, and let's take a look at the fighting. Let's take a look at the drug use. Let's take a look
at the
assaults. Let's take a look at all these things that you should be more concerned about. I mean, you had a player in the league that went out and killed people. Yeah, he's sitting up in jail in Boston right now. But, I mean, yes, but he played for the league. He still played after he did this.
But you know what, too?
What kind of guys and what kind of people are you allowing in this league?
Yeah, it's just with all the accountability, like I said again. And, oh my gosh, there was something you said before, but I forget. It's just, like, I don't know. to allow these people to play in this league.
Well, I just don't. I don't understand it. I mean, they should be concentrating on some things that are paramount to what's going on in society. I mean, these are things. I mean, remember, little kids look up to these guys. Should they? No, they should look up to their parents. They should look up to role models like that, but they don't. Okay, what they do is they look up to athletes. They look up to rock stars. They look up to these superstars, TV stars, movie stars, and things like that. And the problem is the NFL has a lot of people that these kids are looking up to, and what they're seeing is not what you want your kid to turn out to be.
No, and the priorities are so out of whack, aren't they? I mean, it's just like, the Deflategate, the whole thing is on trial right now. The lawsuit's going on. And it's just like they shouldn't be showing that. They should just get it over with.
Here's the thing. The Deflategate should have been over about 3 months ago. It should have been over the first month after the playoffs. It should have been done. Here's the fine. You lose the draft choice. Let's go on. Let's concentrate on some of these issues that actually affect people, affect lives, and affect society. Well, we've hit the bottom of the hour already, which means we need to head into a break. We need to come back because NASCAR has loaded up, and they're within about 2 hours of us right now.
Both leagues.
And we're going to have a really good weekend coming up here. So I want to get back to your Fast Four because it's going to be exciting as we head up to the Michigan International Speedway. So you have been listening to the Cheap Seats. We'll be back with the Fast Four right here on XCRS Radio.
Hey, this is Maximus and the Bartender. Make sure you're checking out our brand new show bringing sports talk to you right here live on Extras Radio.
Tune in every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. for all the latest sports news. NFL, baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it, we got it.
And make sure you check Extras Radio out on Facebook as well.
You can get there through XERSradio.com.
Hey ladies, tired of the same old story? Getting promised all this big meat only to find out it's just the same old average helping? You need someone that can satisfy all your cravings.
You know what she needs? She needs some Scoobies.
Scoobies, oh yeah.
Scoobies at 223 North Main Street in downtown Mishawaka can satisfy all your cravings with freshly made subs, pasta, sandwiches, and even homemade cheesecake.
Cheesecake too? I think I'm in love.
And you'll be in love with the great menu that Scoobies has to offer with specialties like their very own chicken, bacon, and ranch sub. And right now, for the summertime, Michiana's best tasting Chicago dog featuring a quarter-pound all-beef hot dog.
That's more than a mouthful.
And if you need something to wash down all that meat, mention you heard this advertisement on XCRS Radio and get a free drink with any purchase.
Ladies, you won't be disappointed with this 7-inch.
That's Scoobies, downtown Mishawaka, home of the biggest 7-inch around.
And we are back right here on the Cheap Seats. Steve and Josh sitting it in on a Friday night. Hope you're enjoying yourself. We got to head to some NASCAR now. We're heading right down to the stretch. We've got the move up to the Michigan International Speedway, of course, up in Brooklyn, Michigan.
It's a straight shot up 12.
Yeah, and it's kind of putting a damper in my plans for this weekend.
It did.
I'm heading up to Ann Arbor on Sunday. I usually take Highway 12 straight over, which goes right by the Speedway. I can't do that this Sunday, can I?
No, you can't.
Unless I want to sit in the parking lot for a while.
Yeah, you're going to be stuck there for a while, in my opinion. But
94, here I come, I guess. But going to head up. Kids getting ready to get out of their apartment, move to a new one. Got to clean it up because they have no clue. They really don't. No. So, but having a clue, I tell you, we had a great race this last week. What's going on? Give us a wrap up of last week, and let's head on into this week.
Now, last week, Joey Logano never won on a road course in any series until last week.
Wasn't this another we ran out of gas type of story?
Yes, it was. Kevin Harvick. Now, of course, y'all know that's last year's champion. He was leading until the final lap of the final turn. They said that he was 2 laps short. He thought that he had saved enough, and then all of a sudden, coming into the last turn, that was it. That was all she wrote. And Joey Logano got around him. He had plenty enough gas to get to the win. It's his second win of the season, thus adding to his chase portfolio. And I think it will increase his chances to win this year's championship. As I do know that I got Joey Logano in my, we'll see. I can't really spill it yet because in a couple more weeks I got my Chase prediction special coming up, so I don't want to spoil it.
Where's this leave me with Kurt Busch now?
Kurt Busch? Oh, I know he'll get far, but I can't really tell because I know, it's gonna be.
Is he in yet?
Kyle Busch? Oh,
or,
yeah.
I mean Kyle Busch.
He is in.
He made it.
He is in now, and he currently has the second seed right now in the chase. And my friends, I don't see him getting out of there anytime soon because he's just going to keep rolling, and rolling, and rolling. So, but this weekend we got the Michigan International Speedway for the Sprint Cup Series guys. Then we got the big road race down in Mid-Ohio for the Xfinity cars. And I tell you what, if you have ever seen...
Nice big drink there.
If you ever seen oh, God, you're going to make me laugh. But if you've ever seen the Xfinity series on a road course, oh, my God, it's so cool. But, oh, man. But, you take it over. You got... What do you think about Michigan Speedway?
I've never... I've driven by it several times. I mean, I've never been, like I said, I've never been to a NASCAR event. I want to go to one.
Oh, you need to.
I mean, I've driven by. I've seen it. The Speedway it excites and throws me every time I walk by. I go, oh God, that looks so neat. That looks so cool. It's a big oval. It really is.
Yeah, and this weekend it's the Pure Michigan 400, and
right.
I keep looking for Tim Allen and all those guys out there, but. This race, this is something it's known for its high speeds, and now they are also using the same rules package that they did at the Brickyard 400 with the taller spoiler and the little wicker bill.
Right.
And no, it's not Bill McDonald's.
Wicker bills.
But
that's the stuff he has out by his pool. He's
exactly. And, this is to create more passing, but it didn't really live up to its billing at the Brickyard, but that's because it's a flat track. Now, Michigan has its high banks, so I think you're going to see a lot more passing, a lot more 3-wide action. And we certainly saw a lot of high speeds because qualifying just wrapped up, and Matt Kenseth is on the pole. And let's see, we got Denny Hamlin on the outside of the front row, and then Carl Edwards starts third. So it's the first ever 1-2-3 start for Joe Gibbs Racing in their 20-year history, and that seems pretty young because it just seems like yesterday Interstate Batteries was on the 18 car. But he won the pole with a speed of 197.488. This is his 16th pole in his 567th series start. He ties Dale Jarrett and Curtis Turner for 45th all-time on the poles list. Now, I didn't think Matt Kenseth was going to be a force to reckon with this weekend, and I don't think a lot of people did. However, Tony Stewart, I was very impressed with this weekend. Right. He was on top of the board for both practice sessions. So maybe they found something finally. But, it's been the season of hell for Tony Stewart. Well, shoot, the last 2 seasons have been the season of hell. So maybe finally this could be something that puts a little smile on his face in the 14 guys. Because honestly, if they win one race, they're in the chase because they're 25th in the standings, and I really don't see them going out either. I mean, they could be 28th and win a race, and they'll still be in. So maybe that's what I'm going to hold out hope for, but I don't know. So what do you think? Shall we get to the Fast Four?
Why don't we hop right into the Fast Four? That
Definitely
would be good.
Well, this weekend, I'm going with Joey Logano again as one of them.
Okay.
And then, it's just he won this race in 2013. He's got a great reputation on these D-shaped 2-mile tracks. And, it's in Penske's backyard, mind you, because Penske's headquarters are in Detroit, Michigan.
Right.
So, Brad Keselowski That's another one that I'm going for. So that's my number 2. And, you know, it's really cool to know this weekend he's running a throwback paint scheme honoring Rusty Wallace and the old number 2 Miller Genuine Draft car. So I'm excited to see that. So I'm putting both Penske boys on there. And then I'm going with another guy who desperately needs a win to get into the chase. And that's Greg Biffle. Now, Greg Biffle, he has also been on at Michigan.
Okay.
He's got 5 wins there.
Okay.
And, yes, it's a Ford, Roush's backyard in Livonia, Michigan, which is not that far away either. So I see Greg Biffle giving a run for his money. And now for the 4th guy, Kevin Harvick. He's got to be
is he going to have enough gas this week?
He's got to be so mad after not winning this race. And you know what? Steve, it was Rodney Childers, Kevin Harvick's crew chief. He was the victim of a practical joke last Sunday night. Now, mind you, the crew chief's responsibility is making sure that car makes all the laps.
Right.
But his neighbor tweeted a photo of a small gas can that you would use for your lawnmower.
Okay.
He set that on his front porch as a little gig, and I'm like,
that's not a little gig.
That's a blow below the belt times 2.
Yeah, that's not a little gig there.
You know, I will put this photo on the Facebook page tonight. I think you'll get a big kick out of it because I did. I showed people that, you know, my fellow racing enthusiasts, and they're like, oh, jeez, come on. But so those are my fast 4. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Greg Biffle, Kevin Harvick. You know, 3 guys that are in the chase and just looking to build upon their season, and yet one guy who's still desperately wanting to make the chase. And then real quick before we go, the Xfinity Series is at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and this is their 3rd season running there. It's a little road course down in Ohio, down in Lexington. I'm not sure where it's by, but it's a 4-mile road course, and it's the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200. And last season, Chris Buescher won this race, and that was his first win, and he's not much of a road racer, but you know what? Said heads rejoice because I'm going for Boris Said to win that one. He's driving the 54 for Kyle Busch.
Boris Head?
Boris Said. Said heads.
There you go.
Have you ever seen this guy? His hairdo is too cool. He's got like the curly bushy hair. He hadn't cut it in probably 3 years. And you know, they actually make these things on Boris Said's website. And you know,
I think he needs to get rid of Said and just call himself Boris's Head.
And they call his fan club the Said Heads now. Now, how cool is that? But that's it. It's on the NBC Sports Network again this weekend. And don't forget, next week is Bristol.
There you go. So Logano, Keselowski, Biffle, and Harvick. Yes. Those are the guys we're supposed to look at. And bad news for you, Mariota is not having a great day at all.
Oh, you had to.
First period, Atlanta up 17-0. Mariota has been intercepted once, brought back into the red zone. Atlanta scored.
Willis
got the ball back. Mariota got hit, sacked, fumbled, picked up, taken in for another touchdown.
I tell you, you got to be kidding me.
Mariota just not doing it right now.
Come on.
Well, we got the Fast Four. When we get back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit about a problem that's going on with the Chicago Blackhawks and the NHL, and that is the whole Patrick Kane situation.
And then quick hits.
We're going to hit that as you are listening right here to the Cheap Seats on XERS Radio.
Hey, sports fans, this is Steve Willis, host of The Cheap Seats, one of the new additions to the great XERS lineup. Tune in Friday nights at 6 p.m. right here for commentary and insight you won't get anywhere else. This isn't some homer talking about the local team or some old hack hipster trying to be cool using a bunch of lingo you won't understand. I'll give you the biggest stories in sports every week with fresh perspective, tons of straight talk, and none of the jargon. Join me. I got the best seats in the house.
Where do you go when you're looking for great food, a cold drink, and some of the best local live music? I go to the Phoenix, located on the corner of Lincoln Way and Main Street in historic downtown Mishawaka. Thursday nights, it's open jam with $2 well drinks. Friday and Saturdays, there's always live music with no cover charge. Great food, cheap drinks, excellent service. The place to be is the Phoenix.
And we are back right here on the Cheap Seats, taking you right down to the end. Steve Detterman, along with me, Josh Briggs.
The kid.
Just done with the final, the Fast Four. Of course, Logano expected to take it by Josh up there in Michigan. Some problems for the Chicago Blackhawks. And as a Blackhawk fan, this is something I've kept my eye on a little bit. Patrick Kane, of course, one of the kid wonders of the Blackhawks, one of the two between him and Jonathan Taves that both signed those 8-year, $84 million contracts this last year, both set to begin this year, accused of rape. This was last week, accused of rape in his house in one of the suburbs of Buffalo. The investigation, of course, is ongoing, and a lot of the talk has been, what do the Blackhawks do? This is something that, it has not been, he's not been charged. They're investigating it. So, I mean, it's nothing to where it's gotten to the point where he's been charged, he's, anything with that. But the whole question now is, with everything that's gone on in professional sports, over the last couple of years, with everything, with the Ray Rice, and if we just walk right down the list, we also can take a look at what NASCAR did. And remember, NASCAR earlier this year, they punished one of their own.
Kurt Busch.
They did. And then they had to pull it back because the allegations,
they were false.
They didn't pan out. Now, when something like this happens, I mean, as a league, as a player, as a fan, you've got to walk a fine line. As a fan, I mean, the first thing comes to mind, she's got to be lying. Wait, whoa, time out. We've got to take our fandom out of this. We got to take out the fact that this is someone that we watched and we like on our team and everything else. This is a serious situation.
It is a very serious situation.
And the thing is when you look at this, it's like, okay, do we jump to a conclusion right away and we say, A, he's guilty, let's suspend him, let's fine him, let's drop him out, and let's get rid of him and everything else? Or do you jump to the other side and say, oh, she's lying, she's a gold digger, she's doing this, and yada, 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 yada. It's so easy to jump to one side or the other. And the hardest thing is what I've done, and I would wish on every single person, just stay back.
And just hear it out.
Listen to what's going on. Wait until the facts come out. And you can make your decision and have your opinion at that time. Right now, jumping to the conclusion, I mean, first off, the kind of strength it takes for a woman to make this accusation is tremendous. I mean, because you've got to realize you're going to be put under a microscope. You're going to be analyzed. You're going to be vilified. All those fans out there that right away, the first thing they said was, she's a gold digger. She asked for it. She did this on her own. How can you say that?
You can't.
How can you say that? But on the second hand, how can you sit there and go, oh, that Patrick Kane, what an awful guy. Look what he did. Oh my God, he hates women. He did this and that. You can't do that either.
You just got to wait and hear it out, guys.
I mean, here's the thing. It's allegations. The thing we know is that the allegation is that Patrick Kane took this woman to his house. This woman and another woman. She went into a room. He followed her, and these are the alleged, actions there. He followed her and he raped her. She left crying, went home, had one of her relatives take her to the hospital where she was administered a rape kit. Now, from there, no charges have been filed against Patrick Kane. There's an ongoing investigation. And until now, both parties, Kane is innocent until proven guilty. But on the same side, she's not guilty of anything else either. And it's so easy to jump out there and start throwing around our fandom and saying, this is something that she caused, she asked for, she's just trying to gold dig. You're wrong. Stop. Stop yourself and wait. Wait until things come out. The next big thing is that what is a league going to do? We've seen two different leagues act differently. The NFL, they waited. And they waited and they waited on the whole Ray Rice situation. And until the video came out, they did absolutely basically nothing.
And that's what they should do, get all the evidence out there.
They did nothing. But the problem is they didn't suspend him. They didn't do anything at all. And then you jump over to NASCAR. The allegations come out. What did NASCAR do?
They cracked the whip right away.
They ran and they cracked the whip. Was the whip the right thing to do? No, it wasn't. Because it came out the allegations were not true. And what you did was you took a gentleman's season and you basically almost ruined it.
But you know what? He's gonna win. He's gonna win the thing.
That has nothing to do with it.
Nope.
I mean, what you did was you took away his opportunity to make a living. You took away his opportunity to do what he does, to do what he loves.
And live his dream.
There you go. But now we take a look at this, and it's like, okay, what do the Blackhawks do? Right now, the Blackhawks have not said much. They said, we're following the investigation, and that's about it. We're going to make our decision. This is a guy that has been a valuable asset to their team. He's done a lot of very good work, for the team as far as not only on the ice but off the ice. Yes, he's had some off-ice issues. Those were quite a few years ago, but he has had off-ice issues. But it seemed like he was actually growing up. They actually talked about this. He's growing up. He's 26 years old. They just signed him. They committed to him for 8 years and $84 million. This is something that put them in a salary cap hell, as you might as well say, that they had to get rid of people just to keep him there. So now you're at the point of, okay, as a team, what do? You just wait. But as a league now, what's the league do? The league itself has waited a little bit too. Now, some things that the league can do. I mean, the league really doesn't have a series. They did something a couple of years ago with the goalie out in Colorado that had abuse charges brought up to him. But it's something that you can take a look at and say, okay, what are we going to do? We could suspend him. That's something we could do. One thing that the league did was they did allow the Colorado team to provoke the morality clause. But the other thing they did was that they let them use a clause in the bargaining agreement that allowed them to be released from a little bit of the cap hit that this gentleman brought on him. What they did was they allowed them to remove the burden of his hit via the long-term injury exception of the collective bargaining agreement, which freed up room for this team to go ahead and pursue a replacement player. They said right now the league still has no set policy regarding the use of the LTI exception, would review future situations on a case-by-case basis. And as this article at Sports Illustrated says, it seems reasonable to assume the league would use it again if Kane eventually is charged, and likely in a more timely manner, which would allow the Blackhawks greater freedom to pursue other options. Because right now, the Blackhawks are stuck. This, Patrick Kane is going to, count, for a large hit to their salary cap, whether he plays or not plays right now with the way that the collective bargaining is. If you take that money and, basically call it dead money, because what's happening is that, this money itself cannot be used to sign another player. So basically, if you suspend him and you not use him, you've lost the use of this amount of money. So that's where the league itself is considering this on a case by case basis. But right now, there are no charges. It's basically a wait and see. Now, how long this will take, no one knows. That's the whole thing. But right now, all I'm going to say, Blackhawk fans, Patrick Kane fans, keep calm. Wait. Do not throw out judgment right now, because the thing is, it's very easy to jump to one side or the other, and that is not the right thing to do. Heading away from that, back to a little bit of NASCAR, Josh. The parents of Kevin Ward Jr., we talked a little bit about this last week. They filed a civil suit. They took to Good Morning America today, and they made some comments.
And I did see that too. It's just they still maintain the fact that they seek justice for Tony Stewart and what he did. And it's all a matter of anger. The parents are still angry.
Yeah, well, I understand that. To remind everybody, Kevin Ward Jr., last year, August 9th, 2014, 20-year-old, he was killed after he was struck by Stewart's car on a racetrack out in Canandaigua Motorsports Park in upstate New York. Stewart and Ward involved in a trading run. It was a trading type of paint type of thing. Knocked Ward out as Stewart came around on the lap of this. Ward out of his car ran towards Stewart's car where he was struck and killed. And there was a grand jury was brought together, and the 23-person grand jury determined there was not enough evidence to merit any type of criminal charges against Stewart. But just this past week, the parents of Kevin Ward Jr. filed a civil suit. Of course, that was last Thursday, I believe they filed.
Yes,
it, correct?
It was. Yes.
And today they took to Good Morning America, where Ward's mother Pam said, "I wish he wouldn't have gotten out of the car more than anybody, but I also acknowledge the fact that if Tony would have stayed low on the track and not gunned his engine and headed for my son would still be here."
And it's just, I don't think that happened. But, too, we also forget that Kevin Ward Jr., he had traces of marijuana in his system.
Yes, he did.
And his mom actually still insists to the day that he was not impaired. But you know what? Parents, beware. You know what? 20-year-old kids, they do stuff that their parents don't know about.
Right.
They drink. They smoke. They have sex.
No.
And their parents don't know this. But you know what? That's another instance, I bet you. More than anything. He's probably smoking before the race.
Well, and the thing is that, this was brought up by Ontario County District Attorney Michael Tantillo, who said there is toxicology evidence in the case relating to Kevin Ward that actually indicated that at the time of the operation, he was under the influence of marijuana. The levels that were determined were enough to impair judgment. And last week he reiterated that statement, said the metabolites of the marijuana that were found in his system indicated that he had been smoking marijuana probably within a couple hours of the race, but the outside within 5 hours of the race. It was a significant factor, no question about it. And that's, and I think that's going to play within this whole system. But, again, you've got some parents that are grieving over the loss of their son, and we'll wait and see what happens with this. Some good news for Indianapolis Colts wide receiver T.Y. Hilton. He got a 5-year extension from the Colts, 5-year, $65 million extension, $39 million of that guaranteed. And those of you following the Indianapolis Colts know the emergence of T.Y. Hilton over the last couple of years. He now becomes the NFL's 4th highest paid receiver. So, I mean, that's, as a 25-year-old, that's something that's pretty lucrative. And that's congratulations to T.Y. Hilton. Another person that's on the wrong side, Anderson Silva, suspended 1 year after testing positive for banned substances. He was the former UFC middleweight champion, suspended by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Suspended for testing positive for banned substances surrounding his January 31 first fight against Nick Diaz. So some different things going on. That'll do it for tonight. We have a lot of sports that are going on this weekend. I hope you continue to watch the PGA Championships going on up there in Wisconsin. We will wrap that up again next week. I know we'll talk about it. Hopefully, you never know. We could be talking about Jordan Spieth winning 3 out of 4 majors this year, which would be just an incredible thing. And of course, baseball is still heating up. The Yankees and the Blue Jays continue their series this weekend. The Cubs, they did it again. They beat the White Sox 6-5. That's number 8 in a row for them. And of course, football. Football is back.
Thank God.
And also remember, 2 weeks from tonight, the fat man, the big guy, Steve Willis, will be back here live and in studio.
He's kicking me to the curb.
That is right. We're going to kick ourselves to the curb. We want to thank you for joining us tonight. It has been a lovely time. Hope we've informed you. Hope we kept you entertained. As always, get in touch with us on Facebook. We are at The Cheap Seats with Steve and Steve. You can also find us on Twitter. The Arena Sports Network, of course. iHeartRadio. Find us, listen to us, like us.
Love us.
That is right. Until next week, this is Steve Detterman for Josh Briggs. Thank you very much and have a great night.
See you later. We're out.